Hi everyone, this is Nathan with the ebookreader.com. For this video, I'm going to give you guys a review of the Kindle Fire HD tablet. This is the 7-inch version, and I'm also going to go over some of the tips and tricks that I posted about yesterday in this 40 tips and tricks post for the Kindle Fire HD. You can find this here on my website, the ebook reader blog. And so I wanted to go over a few of these, and then I also wanted to go over the review. So a lot of the apps that I'm talking about, they'll be linked to in this review, like the Adobe Flash Player and some File Manager and all this stuff, Google Maps. So the links to all that stuff is in this post if you wanted to download that on your Kindle Fire HD. So let me go ahead and give you a tour of the interface. It's largely the same as it was with the original Kindle Fire HD. We've got the same kind of carousel set up here on the home screen where all your recent apps and ebooks and everything show up here in this list, and you can scroll through them, and then if you want to remove something from the list, you just hold down long press on it and you get the option for remove from carousel, download, add to favorites. So if you wanted to add something to favorites too, you just hit the add to favorites button, and your favorites always are located down here with this little star, so it always pulls up your little favorites icon. So this is kind of a cool way to just jumping back and forth between apps, since it doesn't have like a specific like a quick apps list. You can just use this to jump back and forth between apps, so it's kind of the same deal. As you can tell, the speakers are very loud. That's one of the definite strong points on the HD. It's got these dual speakers on the back with this plastic strip. The back's got this sort of soft coating, which is kind of nice, but it's easily scratch prone. Down here on the bottom there's a micro HDMI port, so you can connect to the TV. I tried that out and it does work well. And then we've also got the micro USB port. And then on the front we've got the camera right there. There's this front facing camera. They didn't give us a specific app to work the camera. I guess they just expect us to use the camera for video chat, but if we want to, we can download these different apps that have a camera option. So I downloaded this one, PicShop Lite. This is actually the free version. Both versions will work. So what you do is you load this up, and then you see this little icon down here. That's the little icon you tap, and then you hit camera, and that will in fact launch the camera. So you've got the different zooming options right here, and we've got a few different settings in there. I mean, it's not a very good camera as you would expect, but you can take pictures with it here, and there are a few different settings, like I said. So then that will get saved in a photo gallery. So as you can see, when we're dealing with the tablet in landscape mode, the icons are really huge here, and on the carousel we don't have that lower item. So when you're in portrait mode, you have the recommended apps sections right here. So whenever you're on an app, you get like the recommended apps. Whenever you're on a book, you get recommended books down here. Side-loaded stuff doesn't show anything, and like audiobooks doesn't show anything, but otherwise, yeah, it's going to show the recommended apps down here. So the way Amazon has this set up is we have your carousel right here, and then your favorites right here, and then on the home screen you've got this list, all these sub-menus. So you can hit the shop icon, and then you can take it to this digital storefront here, and then we can just shop for your stuff through here, obviously. And then we've got the other sections, subsections in here. So the game subsection is actually a new one. And it goes ahead and lists all the game apps you have on your device, and we can also see what's on the cloud, and see, as you can see, it shows some stats for certain apps. So back in the app section, it sorts everything by what you've got on your device and your cloud. Like I said earlier, you can go ahead and install apps from the Amazon App Store and apps from the outside the Amazon App Store. What you need to do to install apps from outside the App Store, it's called side loading. You got to go into, actually don't go there, you go to device, and then you've got to turn on allow installation of apps from unknown sources right there. And then once you do that, you can install apps from alternate websites. I have a link, some alternate app stores in that tips and tricks post, and then with that you can download some other apps. So like I side-loaded some different apps using that, like the Adobe Flash Player. So Amazon's not going to be supporting Flash Player on any of their devices anymore, but one way to get around that is you can load in the Dolphin browser, and then you can get that other Flash that Flash app, and it's mentioned in the tips and tricks post for the download. You can install that, and then a Flash will go ahead and work then.
We have big dreams. One is for a clean domestic energy future. Natural gas is already saving us money, producing cleaner electricity, putting us to work here in America.
Returning to the issue that has driven his campaign.
Okay, so here's a look at Flash Player in action.
It's time for a president who's committed to cutting spending and balancing the budget. And I know how to do that. I've done it before.
Okay, that's way too much politics for this video review. Let's go ahead and move on to something else. So one thing to watch out for with the apps at Amazon is they do give a free paid app away every day, so it's a good idea to come in here and load this up and see what they've got available. So right now it's down the hatch. It's usually a game like 90% of the time, so that's always a good thing to check on. You can get loaded with free apps because I used to do that. Actually, I don't get them anymore because I just like never use them. But I have like a gazillion apps on here because I used to get the free app every day. Yeah, as you can see, it's mostly games. But you'll get a really good app once in a while. Like I got the free Office Suite through there one time. I got a couple other really good apps. So they do give away a really good app once in a while, especially holidays. So definitely want to check it on holidays. They usually have a really nice app they give away for free. Okay, so the books list, it's sort of just the same deal as your apps list. You got all your cloud listed on one side and what you got loaded on your device on the other side. One thing I really wish Amazon would add to this, so I have all these gazillion books, I don't really know what many of them are. It would be nice to be able to hold down on this and get a description for the book, but we don't have anything like that. If you want to know what the book is, what the book's about, whatever, you have to hit the store, type in the title into the search it bar up here, and then hit enter. So it's kind of a annoying process if you want to try to figure out what book out of your collection you want to read. So like I said, we got all our subsections up here. I've showed you all those. We've got the music subsection. So what you can do with Amazon's cloud is you can go ahead and load all your music onto here if you want. I never bothered with it, but you can do that. You get 250 free songs, or you got to pay the premium package for anything up to 250,000 songs. So you do have a lot of options for that. I just usually listen to Pandora. That's one really good option for streaming music. That's available in the Amazon App Store. So as far as the videos go, of course, we've got Amazon's videos. You can sideload videos. The format support isn't the greatest. What you're going to want to do is download a sideloading app called MX Video Player. That's probably going to help with your video playing sideloaded videos because it supports a lot more formats than like the Amazon's base app supports. So with the Kindle videos, you can save them you can stream them online, or you can save them to view offline. With the exception of the Prime videos, those are only for streaming, so you can't actually download those, I don't believe. We've got the newsstand sections and the audiobooks and the web, photos, docs, and offers. So the thing about these new Kindle tablets is they all come with special offers. So whenever you turn it off and turn it back on again, you've got an advertisement on the lock screen. You can also view all those advertisements over here in the offers section. They're not all bad. Sometimes they're pretty good, like this one right here. Get $5 to spend on selected titles in the Amazon Instant Video Store. So I mean, you basically just get $5 free. So the special offers aren't so bad at all. Sometimes, it sort of depends on your nature. If you get annoyed by these kinds of things, I'm going to go ahead and keep them on there because I don't really find them too annoying. You can pay Amazon $15 to get rid of them. The very first day I had this tablet, there was a really annoying ad here in the left corner that said, get Harry Potter ebooks with Amazon Prime, and I must have hit that thing like all the time accidentally, like half a dozen times. I was really annoyed with that ad, but after the first day it's never been there again, so I guess they just decided to get rid of it. If that ever comes back, I will be annoyed, but otherwise I really don't mind the lock screen ads. Okay, so why don't I go ahead and show you guys how ebooks work on the Kindle Fire HD. We've got some new features, and one of the main new features is called Whisper Sync for Voice. So the other day I posted about on my blog a way to get 22 free Kindle ebooks and audiobooks through Audible, and it's a really, really good deal. You guys should check that out. I don't know how long it's going to last, but while it does last, we get these public domain titles, and then we have professionally narrated audiobooks with them, and audiobooks are like 15 to 25 bucks each, and there's 22 of them, so at a free promotion, that's a pretty good deal. So
one of those two passengers?
So with the narration, we've got the different speeds.
Either of these two passengers. Both were so wrapped up, and the night was so dark. Both were so... if he was. Does he resemble either of these two passengers? Suppose... look again upon the prisoner. Supposing him...
So as you can see, it does the highlighting as it goes, and you can see...
Is there anything in his bulk?
So you could listen to the audiobook on other devices, and then come back to the book, and it will sync where you left off on the audiobook to the ebook. So they've got that new feature here where it syncs the ebooks and audiobooks together. It's called Whisper Sync for Voice. So in here we've got the different font sizes as usual. We've got the different background colors. Got the different margin settings and the different font types. Alright, so all the other Kindle features apply. You know, you got the you hold down on a word, you get the options for the dictionary comes up, and we get the options for notes, highlights, sharing. So as far as The highlights go, you can just move those little arrows icons. They work really easy on this guy. We've also got the options to search Wikipedia and search the web when you have a single word highlighted. So we can just open up the web browser. So the Silk web browser is not reacting right now. What's wrong with you? There we go. So the Silk web browser is a pretty nice web browser actually. There's been some complaints about it. I think it's a pretty nice web browser. We've got the different options when you click down on a link. You got the open and background. We've got some different settings in here. You've got the copy and paste. If you wanted to copy something, same goes with the images. We've got the full screen. I really like the full screen so you can get really big. You got the different tabs up there. Oh, what's really cool is the reading mode. You hit those little glasses right here, and it takes the page and reformats it into like an ebook type style where you can adjust the different font types. So that's a really cool feature actually. I'm pretty fond of the little reading app right there as far as that goes. I have had some issues with this web browser freezing up on me though. I've actually had that happen 3 times already. So that's the one annoying thing about this browser, is it will freeze up. It just sort of like hangs and it won't do anything. What you're going to want to do in that case is you come into more, you come into applications, and then you find your application on this list here. This goes for any application that's giving you troubles. So like if the web browser is freezing up on you, you just come in here, find Silk right there, and then you just go in and hit force stop, and then that will go ahead and reset it so that it's actually working again, or you can just restart your device. As you can see, after you visit the web browser or whatever, it adds a little icon to your home screen. I usually don't like it because it's just kind of ugly looking as far as the web browser goes. So I always get rid of that, and we've got your other icons right here. What's weird is it always moves the audiobook in front because we're using that with that ebook. One thing I've also noticed is it always adds that up here.
One of those 2 passengers? I cannot.
Your notifications bar right here. I don't really like that. I haven't found a way to get rid of that at all. If I force stop the app, it doesn't get rid of it. The only way I've found to get rid of it is if I actually restart the device, so I do get kind of annoyed with that. As you can see, I've got this battery status right here. So this is one of the recommended apps I'd recommend installing. This is called GSAM Battery Monitor. So you can just see what is using the most app usage, what is using the most battery usage. You can check out what apps are using the most battery. But what I like most about it, obviously, is that you can just pull down your thing right here and it tells you exactly battery percentage, 43%, because otherwise you got to go a couple of taps into the settings menu just to get the percentage of the battery left. So I do like that app just to have that option on there. So one of the apps that I sideloaded onto here was the Google Maps app. So not like all the features are going to work because it's not set up for it. It's just sideloaded, so it doesn't have like latitude and stuff. So if you hit that, it's just going to force stop the app. But for the most part, most of the features seem to be working. The different layers. We've got different options for like if I install the Street View, that works, and the directions, that type of stuff works. So for the most part, it works. Satellite view, that kind of thing works. Some of the other apps I sideloaded were YouTube. So the Kindle Fire doesn't exactly come with a YouTube app, it just directs you to the YouTube website. So this does actually work pretty well. So one of the other apps that I would highly recommend is ES File Explorer. It's a file management app. Let me show you a cool thing that if you download like say an ebook or a PDF with a web browser and you want it to show up on your carousel or in your documents list, what you're going to need to do is go in here to the downloads folder, pick whatever it is that you downloaded, and then just long press on it. So like if it's an ebook, you just long press, and then you type copy, and then you go ahead and move that over. We need to go back, so we need to go back up one level, and we need to move it to the documents folder. So if you move anything to your documents folder as far as PDFs and MOBI files for Kindle books, we can go ahead and just do like that. And when we go to the home screen, you got to leave the home screen. So you can see it does kind of lag sometimes when you like hit on a new icon. It does take it a few seconds to load. Otherwise, it's pretty zippy as far as the 1.2 gigahertz processor goes. So as you can see, that I went ahead and added that book that I downloaded with the web browser to the home screen here, and it also adds it to your personal documents list. So we've got that right there. So as far as the recent apps list goes, you can actually reorganize this stuff if you want. You just hold down and you can move it around. If you want to reorganize, you can add as much stuff as you want to this. So I just happen to have an even number that fits here, but if you have more, you can scroll up and down. So as far as performance and the screen, it just looks really good even at strong viewing angles. You can see right here, I mean, it's super clear screen. I really like the screen. Touchscreen reacts well, and it is generally fast and responsive. Like I said earlier, sometimes you like hit something up here and it will take it a few seconds to launch. So it's not as super fast as like other tablets on the market, but it is pretty zippy as far as that goes. I mean, you can scroll through all this really super fast, and it doesn't have any problems with that as far as keeping up. So like if I go through my massive apps list, it does keep up generally once it's loaded. As you can see, it slows up once we get to the bottom there, but then once it gets all the images loaded, it's actually quite fast. So I wanted to go ahead and show you guys what text-to-speech sounds like. Since this book doesn't have the audiobook section, we can go ahead and demo that pretty easily.
At last, saturated with the news of the day, I tossed them all aside and lay listless, watching the huge crest and monogram upon the envelope upon the table and wondering lazily who my friend's noble correspondent could be. Here is a very fashionable epistle.
So the voice is actually not bad, and there's different speed adjustments right here.
Your morning letters, if I remember right, were from a fishmonger. Yes, my correspondent has her. This looks like one of those unwell. He broke the seal and glanced over the contents.
So one thing about the Amazon app stores, they don't let any EPUB e-reading apps show up in the list, even though they have some. So what you can do is you can sideload your EPUB reader app. So I went ahead and sideloaded the Overdrive Media Console. You can just go to the Overdrive's website and get that if you want. And you can get library books through that app. You can also just get library books through your Kindle and read them through your Kindle app. So it just sort of depends which way you want to go with that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the Aldeco app, which I loaded on here. I sideloaded it and downloaded a book, and it seems to be working okay. What I like about that is you can just adjust the brightness right there on the side. It's got all the different text adjusting options. Let me go ahead and show you an aspect of the screen. The HD screen is really nice on the Kindle Fire. I haven't mentioned it much yet, but it is really nice. The 1080 by 800 resolution. It's a very fine detail. Even with this really tiny text down here, you can actually read it just as clearly as can be. So even I go all the way down to the super smallest text here, I can actually still barely read it. That's how clear the screen is. There's actually one more setting, I think, a couple more. It just sort of depends on the book. This one can't quite read at the smallest setting, but at the second smallest setting I can read it. That's how clear the screen is, because the pixels, there's so many pixels, it just doesn't get pixelated even with that super small text. It just looks really good, really clear, even at sharp viewing angles. I mean, the viewing angles on it are really good. So this video is starting to drag on, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up right here. Check out the ebookreader.com. Like I said, I've got that 40 tips and tricks for the Kindle Fire HD post, and I'll also be posting an in-depth review here shortly. I already posted a first impressions post if you wanted to read that. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this review. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like my videos, and have a good day.